What's up, guys? It's the Four Horsemen Fantasy Football Podcast. My name is Josh Romine. With me tonight, I have Alex Devaney Stoner, Brent Walker, and Joshua Van Cleve. How you guys doing?
Great.
Oh, yeah. Let's do it.
Super duper.
Talk about the deep running backs.
Yeah, I don't know about deep necessarily, but we are going to talk running backs again. We talked them last week, and we couldn't really decide exactly where we got, but we have a pretty good idea of it. So this whole episode is going to be probably an hour of us talking about running backs. But before we do that, I got a real fast question for you. Would you, if you had to choose one, would you rather piss your pants or throw up on yourself? If you had to choose one.
Piss my pants. I don't like puking. I've only thrown up 2 times in 20 years, so.
You guys agree, Brent?
I'd kind of like a combo of both because I've done it so many times.
Oh, yes. Brent.
I've seen it all from Brent.
I have literally seen it all. Literally everything.
Yeah.
Every fluid that comes out of Brent's body, I've seen.
Didn't you see it all in one night?
That's a lot.
I had to,
like trying to register this information.
Can we
right
move
now.
on, please?
I had a trifecta that night. I didn't have all of it.
And you had to get a new backpack, which
Yep.
was that was nice.
Yes, thanks, Brent. Didn't even pay for it.
My wife texted me from the other room and said, "Easy, pee your pants." So, trust me, she's had to clean up my pee quite a few times. So, wow. she's got to be an expert in the.
You know what? I would say
area.
that, yeah, cleaning up Brent's pee or puke, I go pee. Because that's his puke just is nasty.
Well, and beer pee's not that bad, which
No.
usually if that's happening, it's because you're intoxicated. I hope.
I would assume so.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that good talk, let's talk some running backs. So the very first one I want to get in on, we touched on a lot of the big guys. One guy that kind of is a little polarizing is Aaron Jones. And I'm just kind of curious where you guys are at on him. VC, you want to start it off?
With Aaron Jones?
Mhm.
Who? So I've got mixed feelings about him. I've been high on him ever since he's come out in his rookie season, but he's never been able to put a full season together. I think the talent is there. I think with the new regime, I think that they'll finally utilize him correctly and not do kind of a RBBC type thing, because I think that like when he was on the field, he was very, very productive. Even Aaron Rodgers has his back on things. And so I really think he's the most talented running back there. I'd like him to stay for a whole full season. If he does that, I think he can be a top 10 running back for it.
Yeah, I feel like we had kind of touched on him before, because I feel like Alex and I argued about it. So maybe I was gonna say maybe I'm remembering wrong. How do you feel?
No, I'm kind of changing my tune about it. Well, I did read he cut his body fat in half, something along those lines. I looked into his logs a lot more, and he was a lot better than I thought he was. And I think he just kind of quietly had a really good season. So you anticipate, if kind of like what VC says, if he has a strong like year that he plays the whole year, you could be looking at a top 10 running back.
Yeah. Brent, you kind of echo similar feelings?
I feel like every time I do my ranks, he moves up like another spot. But I really don't know what to expect with him. I mean, they've got a new coaching staff, but you still have Aaron Rodgers there. So I feel like it's going to be a pass-centric offense still. I know the running game can flourish sometimes when the pass opens up the run, but I just don't know. This guy comes from the Sean McVay system as well. So I think it still could be a very pass-happy offense. But this guy was the offensive coordinator in Tennessee last year, and it was a very stagnant offense. It was a terrible offense in Tennessee last year. It was just boring. They couldn't figure things out with running back. They couldn't figure things out with the passing game. So it kind of worries me with Aaron Jones, but his talent is there. But he does need to put a full season together before I'm able to trust him.
Well, but I mean, like what Brent was saying though about the new coach or coaching staff, they're not going to get a coaching staff to make sure that Aaron Jones is running the ball. You know, they're getting a coaching regime that's going to make sure that Aaron Rodgers is doing well. So, you know, it is something that kind of, and that's why I have him down as far as I have him. I have him at 19, and that's simply because when Aaron Rodgers has been around, running backs have come and gone. Sometimes they'd have a good year. Sometimes they just flame out, you know. So, I don't know.
Are you guys worried about Jamal Williams at all, or is it
not anymore?
More just no.
We've seen him for 2 seasons now, and I'm just not impressed. The guy can barely get to 4 yards a carry.
Yeah.
I mean, Aaron Jones is running behind that same offensive line and pushing over 5 yards a carry. So, I mean,
yeah.
I don't think he's going to worry. I think he'll get his reps in for Breed to oh my gosh, I can't talk.
To
spell Aaron Jones, but I don't think he'll be a big fantasy factor like he's been in previous years, unless Aaron Jones goes down. But they did just draft a rookie running back too, so
really late though, right?
Yeah, really late. But I can see Dexter Williams succeeding Jamal Williams.
Well, see, I was going to say that I could see a scenario where Jamal Williams gets cut.
Really?
I mean, he didn't show anything.
I mean, he had a couple good games, didn't he, in his game log?
Yeah, he had a decent game log.
I'm literally I don't remember. I thought I remembered seeing him have some good games when Aaron Jones was either down or injured later in the season. And maybe I'm remembering it incorrectly, but according to Fantasy Pros, he is the RB 17, like 32nd overall player. So what that puts him?
He had one game. Yeah, he had one game over 60 yards.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that was the second game of the season. He had 95 yards and a touchdown.
Clearly, my memory is not serving me well. So,
yeah, he had 3.8 yards per carry. Not very good.
Aaron Jones is obviously like the only running back really you want to spend any sort of draft capital on. No, I was just going to say, like, where would you be targeting him? Hoping he falls to the 4th, or do you reach up there in the 3rd if you...
Late 3rd, early 4th is where I'm targeting.
I feel more comfortable getting him in the 4th, to be completely honest. That might mean that I don't get him, but...
I feel comfortable with him as my running back, too, on my team.
Yeah. I was going to say, because guys around him are like Fournette, which is another guy I kind of want to talk about. I don't think we really touched on him too much last week. Because, like, obviously, if you asked me that last year, Fournette's a into the 1st, early 2nd round running back. And then we saw what happened last year with him just kind of being dumb and getting suspended and making a fool of himself on the sidelines. And he's been another one that we've all kind of been torn on. I know Brent was a real big hater of Fournette at first. I think he's kind of warmed up to him, though. Is that the case? Because I know you really want to get rid of him. You hated him.
I mean, I'm just so sick of owning him and starting him every week. And then, I mean, he pretty much plods his way to 100 yards. I mean, he's a very volume-based runner. He's not explosive. He gets touchdowns and he gets volume, which is great for fantasy. But you worry about his off-field concerns. I mean, he was suspended a game for missing a team photo. Like he then he went and got into a fight in the tunnel and got suspended another game. And then when he's not having hamstring issues, I mean, he's great, but he's always hurt and he's always getting into trouble, it seems like. And even this offseason, he got a traffic violation for not paying off, stoplight tickets or something. I don't know. Like I'm
Those tickets
so
suck.
Over him.
I'll get it, but
That's why I'm like wanting to get rid of him. But at the same time, you see his potential because he is a very volume-based player, and the offense does run through him in Jacksonville.
But even when he's gotten volume, he had 2 games that he had over 20 carries. One was 2.2 yards per carry, and the other was 3.4. He ended the season with 3.3 yards per carry. That is not someone you want as a starting running
Something
back.
that was optimistic about watching him play, though, is he was involved in the passing game, even with TJ Yeldon there. So that I like. So I'm warming up to Leonard Fournette this year because he is involved in the passing game, and they really don't have anyone else behind him this year. TJ Yeldon's gone now, so they bring in Thomas Rawls. They drafted the rookie Armstead, but I think Fournette's going to continue getting volume. If he can get healthy and stay out of trouble, he's going to be a fantasy asset, especially if you're drafting him in the 3rd round.
Yeah, but if Aaron Jones and Fournette are there, who do you take?
I think I still take I take Fournette still just because of volume, because I feel like there's more opportunity with the volume for Leonard Fournette as opposed to Aaron Jones, who might actually succeed a little more, but with limited opportunity. I'm always going to take a volume-based runner over someone who gets like 10 to 15 touches a game. So,
but if they don't do anything with that volume, doesn't really matter.
But it's more opportunity. So every time you touch the ball, I feel like you have that opportunity.
It's just like Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon's a volume-based guy.
Well, okay, so would you – and I mean, I guess this is a wide receiver, so it's a little bit different, but and all things aside, you want a guy that gets, 70 catches for 1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns, or do you want a guy that gets, 80 or 90 catches, doesn't get as many yards, and then, gets around the same?
So
I don't know.
You're basically talking like a Keenan Allen with volume or T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah, I'm just kind of playing devil's advocate. I understand where you're coming from, and usually that's my school of thought as well. The problem is that there are so many other factors with Fournette that I can't look at his volume, because his volume could be 5 games.
You're right, and that's why I'm frustrated with him. But if I factor out everything out of that as far as injuries and off-field concerns, I consider him a 16-game starter with volume, involved in the passing game, and he's got touchdown upside like crazy. So if I can push that aside, that's why I would draft him ahead of Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones has the same issues too. He was suspended.
Yeah, no, I understand, but you can't push those things aside because that's exactly what you are looking at.
But when I'm comparing both those guys, that's why I'm taking Fournette over Aaron Jones.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
I don't know. What was Aaron Jones suspended for? I can't remember.
PDs.
Peds.
So technically it wasn't an off-field issue like Fournette has.
Oh, yeah. Looks like Jones pleaded no contest to a marijuana-related charge, too. So, that was last year. God, dumb NFL players. All right, let's talk some of the rookies. Is it kind of next on the list?
Yeah.
This is just a weird year for rookie running backs, I feel like. We've had some, really good ones come out the last several years. Barkley was a first-round pick last year in fantasy drafts. There's nobody like that this year, but
nope.
Your first one, I think, Josh Jacobs probably for most people.
You have to give him that because he's going to be a day one starter.
Yeah, like the only one that's like the clear running back in their backfield.
There's nothing else that you have to worry about. You don't like. In Philly, you're kind of assuming that Jordan Howard's going to stumble at some point and they're going to look to do something else. But you're going to have to wait probably a few games, maybe half the season. Who knows? And so you look at Josh Jacobs and you're saying, okay, I can get him as my RB2 if I want to load up on wide receivers. I mean, I wouldn't want him as an RB2. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that you're looking at a clear-cut starter that you want as, a guy that you can start right off the bat.
Brent? Can't hear you.
Okay.
You
All
muted?
right.
Yeah, you're not coming through, bud. Van Cleve, why don't you give me your opinion while Brent does something?
I mean, I'm not real high on Jacobs, but it comes back to volume. I think that if, he's going to get the most volume out of all the rookie running backs.
Mm-hmm.
You like to think that Montgomery would take over that, like, be that number one running back, but you're not sure what Chicago's going to do with him, how he's going to fit. I mean, he's supposed to be good for that system, and he's supposed to work real well in that system. We don't know. Or Miles Sanders, but I don't think Miles Sanders is a player for this year. He could potentially be that guy. So I think of all the running backs, the clear-cut, no one running back that's going to get a day one start is Josh Jacobs. So I think you have to put him there, even though I don't think that he's the most talented guy.
Yeah, I could almost see an argument for David Montgomery. The more I look at it, if you don't like David Montgomery, that means you like, what's his name? Who's the other running back? Not Tarek Cohen, but no, the other one, Mike Davis.
Oh, Mike Davis. I see. I prefer Montgomery over Davis.
Right? Easily.
Yeah.
No question. So, because, Chicago was pretty good. Jordan Howard put up good stats in that offense, even with Tarek Cohen there.
Moderate stats.
Right. So if you say you have a better running back come in there, I'm just saying that the opportunity is definitely there.
Well, okay, but we don't know if, is Oakland going to pass to Josh Jacobs? Because
Right, you don't know.
There's not really any other, receiving back that will take that away from him if that's what they choose to do.
Well, the thing that Jacob had for him coming out of college is because he was so good in the passing game. So he's going to be a versatile back like that.
And
so but you're right. There's no other running back in that system.
Yeah. And so if he's going to be an all-around guy, I'm not going to look at David Montgomery and say, oh, Tariq Cohen, who could have, 60, 70 catches or something along those lines. There's not going to be a whole lot for Montgomery to do in the passing game. So you got to look at Josh Jacobs as the kind of clear-cut guy.
Yeah, RB19 is his in Fantasy Pros where he's going, which is overall the number 34. So that's the beginning of the fourth round.
Yeah.
I don't know. That just seems awfully early.
For me,
saying, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No. All I was going to say is just I'm not going to have a lot of Jacobs stock if he's going that early. I see why he is, and that's fine. But I don't want that stock. Now in a rookie draft, yeah, all day. But in a redraft, I'm not going to take him that high.
Yeah, that just seems awfully early.
Yeah.
David Montgomery right now is RB26, 48th overall. So very end of the fourth, beginning of the fifth round.
Well,
I don't know why I feel better about that, but I do.
Well, because I'd almost want to see Jacobs there than I would.
Uh-huh.
But what happened in our draft? When did Montgomery go? What did I take him? Was it the fifth or sixth turn?
I can look it up.
Something like that, though. But I think it was later than the fourth round, though. That's for sure.
Yeah, fourth round is so early, and probably as the season, the fantasy season goes on, I feel like he's just probably going to move up higher.
Well,
since there's not that rookie there that's got all that hype. This is one of those guys hype builds.
Okay,
yeah, so I took him at the beginning of the sixth round.
Okay, that makes way more sense.
Let's say that you get Julio Jones and Adams. We'll just so you get those guys right off the bat, and then you get Marlon Mack, and then you draft Josh Jacobs. Do you hate that team?
No.
Jacobs isn't my number one running back, and I've got two
No.
top tier.
Yeah, exactly. If in the 4th round, I mean, it's not a horrible situation if you've drafted well those first 3 rounds.
Yeah, that's not really that bad, and that's early 4th round. When you say it like that, though, it doesn't seem too bad. Seems
Yeah.
like something I can live with. Brent, your mic working?
Is it?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
You were wanting to say something about Josh Jacobs. You were talking,
He's
but
ready.
I mean,
we're
it's
ready to
just
go.
it's all about going back to first round draft capital. When teams draft a running back in the first round, you just expect them to be a day one starter, someone that's going to benefit and get volume based on their opportunity in that offense. And with
Like Rashad
Oakland,
Penny.
like Rashad Penny, man, he's going to be a stud. I cannot wait. We're going to talk about him in a little bit, I think. But with Josh Jacobs, I mean, clearly there's nothing behind him. You got the muscle hamster. Who gives a shit? Like, you've got Jalen Richard, who's strictly a pass catcher. Chris Warren was a rookie last year, but I thought he looked pretty promising. But, I mean, he's a taxi squad guy, it seems like. So I'm all on board with Josh Jacobs. I think he's going to get not just the rushing load, but also the passing work as well. They drafted him for a reason, and I think John Gruden, he's crazy. We all know this. I just think he went out and got his guy in the first round that he wanted, and he's going to give him the ball.
Well, so is the worry more that just Oakland's going to be hot garbage?
Yes.
I mean,
I want
pretty
them to
much.
be- I just want Gruden to go down in a ball of flame. Like, I'm so sick of people thinking that he's a great coach. It's like,
Does anybody really think that anymore?
I mean, he got how much money? A 10-year contract?
Right.
Like, I mean,
like the public in general. I feel like nobody's really on his side anymore. He's just kind of like a laughing stock.
He's Chip Kelly that team.
Yeah.
I mean, like, he has completely gotten rid of and destroyed a team that honestly could have been good.
Should have been good.
Yeah, like he threw away a great wide receiver that with a worse quarterback was amazing. Took the quarterback that was good on this team, turned him into garbage. I mean, it's been got rid of their best player. I mean, it's I don't know.
He has assembled quite a bit of talent, especially on the offensive side of the ball.
He has.
I mean, I think they're going to be a lot better than last year just based on the talent he brought in.
They better be.
Who did they bring in at wide receiver? I can't remember.
Antonio Brown? Tyrell Williams?
I was going to say Tyrell Williams.
J.J. Nelson? I mean, the wide receiver core is completely revamped. Okay. They don't have a tight end. I mean, Jared Cook left, but
okay. But here's something though. I could see a scenario where Antonio Brown's not very good.
Of course, he's playing for John Gruden. So
yeah, and I keep forgetting that he is on Oakland because I care that little about that team. Like I honestly, I will avoid Oakland players that are, cursed with the plague. I don't want them. I don't want Antonio Brown. I don't want David Carr. I really don't even want Josh Jacobs. Like until I see something coming out of that team with, some bozo coach that thinks he's, a quarterback guru. It's like, he's only brought in guys like Brian Greasy and Jeff Garcia into his team. What was it? Brad Johnson. Like, his quarterbacks have always been these ancient Rich Gannon, these ancient dudes that have are on their last legs and are about to be popped in the field because they're ready to be put out to pasture. Like, he can't cultivate talent. He just can't. And he won a Super Bowl with Tony Dungy's team, not his team. His team lost. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I get it. But I think Josh Jacobs provides at least some interesting upside, and I would not want him in the 4th, but if he fell to the 5th, I could probably do that. I could probably pull a trigger on that. I kind of want to talk about some of the second-year running backs, specifically start off with Kerryon Johnson, because he is interesting to me. So I really don't know what to do with him. Like he showed some really big flashes, then got injured, and then they just kind of shut him down for the rest of the year. I think was how it played out. Brent, where you at on Kerryon?
So I really like Kerryon this year, and I don't think you guys are nearly as high as I am on him. I watched him play last year, and he looked like probably, other than Saquon, maybe the best rookie running back last year, other than Saquon. I mean, I get it. Like Rashad Penny didn't get enough touches, and Darius Geis got hurt. So I mean,
the problem
limited running back rookies, but
that was the problem with Rashad.
But Kerryon, man, when he touched the ball, he was great in the rushing game. He was great in the passing game. And then he got hampered by an injury, which sucks because I really wanted to see him play an entire season. The only thing I didn't like was, the coaching staff in Detroit decided to play a stagnant LeGarrette Blount half the time.
Don't you dare say anything bad about LeGarrette Blount.
Oh, I will say everything bad about LeGarrette Blount.
But now they have C.J. Anderson.
And you can't say anything bad about C.J. Anderson.
Anyway.
VC loves C.J. Anderson.
I owe everything to C.J. Anderson.
I don't want to talk about Kerryon Johnson more. I only want to talk about C.J. Anderson. Brent. Sorry, Brent, continue.
The starter to C.J. Anderson might be a top 10 running back this year.
You think that's Kerryon's
I could
upside,
see
then?
it. Oh, I think that is a very likely scenario because, frankly, Detroit, they've pretty much abandoned their passing game, in my mind. They do not pass the ball more than like 20, 25 times a game now. I think they are going to rush the ball a lot. And I really think Kerryon Johnson could be the benefactor because they're talking about Theo Riddick maybe getting cut and not making the team now. And if that happens, Kerryon is the passing down guy now, along with the rushing down guy. So, I mean, it's not C.J. Anderson.
Could be a workhorse. Well, Brent, you have him 16th in your rankings.
And it's probably too low.
Alex and I both have him 18, and VC has him 24th.
Why VC? Because of C.J. Anderson?
I have, yes. That's the exact reason why.
You are ridiculous.
Kenyon Drake.
Like, all joking aside, are you being serious? Like, is it really because of C.J. Anderson?
Bet me. C.J. Anderson versus Kerryon right now.
All right, done. All right, done.
Yes.
I hope this is a joke. Tell us more about your feelings.
No injury clause.
Oh, that's not fair.
No. Hey. You're so high on him.
Let's do it. Put it on the board.
You guys' bets are boring.
I also don't think Kerryon will have that great of a season. I don't think C.J. Anderson's going to be coming here and swoop everything, but I think he will take over LeGarrette Blount's role. And knowing what they did last year with LeGarrette Blount, I think that they will mix it, and I don't think that he'll be a true workhorse. So I do not think I see him as a top 10. I don't think he's as talented. I think he, because of all the other injuries of running back, so he looked better than what he was. I don't think that he is that talented of a running back.
I mean, he was the first running back in like 100 years to rush for 100 yards, I think, for the Lions.
That's
it.
First running back since like Barry Sanders. Something crazy. Something crazy.
No, what's his face? Abdullah rush for 100 yards?
I don't think
so. Absolutely not. I don't even think that he actually played a game.
Say anything bad about Amir Abdullah either.
Where is he playing?
He plays for Minnesota.
Ride the bench in Minnesota.
Backing up Dalvin Cook.
Kerryon Johnson is good. Detroit is a garbage fire. Their coach is a fat slob
Oh,
who
wow.
basically is Jabba the Hutt scooting around on the side of the field. I mean, they're a terribly coached team.
Patricia's like a super good dude, though, so don't say too many bad things about him.
You know what? If he gets hit by a truck, it'll be the best thing that happened to Detroit.
That is terrible.
It might
I would
be.
like to publicly say we do not condone that at all. Alex is on his own on this one. I like Matt Patricia, personally speaking.
Well, he's a part of the New England Patriots and probably is a cheater. And I mean, but all jokes aside, Patriots guys that come out and our coaches don't fare very well. It's probably one of the worst coaching trees of all time, if you really ask me. Like, you've got Andy Reid, you've got Mike Holmgren, you've got Bill Cowher. You've got all these coaches that were around for a long period of time, and they got lots of coaches going into not the Patriots. They go and they flounder, and it's probably because they can't cheat. But I'll be honest. Anyway, get back to Kerryon Johnson. I don't think they're very good at play calling. And you know what Brent said about, they've kind of abandoned their passing game. Well, I think they also abandoned their run game several times. And I think that Kerryon Johnson gets hurt by that. And Kerryon Johnson could be a great running back, and I completely disagree with VC. I think he's very talented. However, Detroit is not. And so that will be his ultimate handcuff, and it worries me. I definitely don't want him to be my number one by any stretch of the imagination. And if I have him as my number two, I better have something to get ready to back him up, because I don't know if he's going to be a week-to-week starter.
Yeah. So he was the first Lions running back to rush for 100 yards since 2013 when Reggie Bush ran for 100 yards.
Oh my gosh!
Just FYI.
6 years.
Yeah, 6 years, right? Something like that. It's crazy. 70 games was how many it was. But would you rather have Kerryon Johnson or Sony Michel?
Kerryon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is it close or is it?
I think
it's not close right now.
I think Sony is actually a better running back, but he is on a. Oh God, I hate both of these. I don't want any of this.
Sony has a better talent. I'm just worried about his injury.
Well, I'm worried about them drafting a third-round running back, Damian Harris. There's a lot of talk that he's going to be pushing Sony Michel for early down snaps.
That's because of his injuries. That's the only reason why. That's why they drafted him, because of
the combination of the two is driving Sony Michel. You could probably get him in like the 5th, 6th, 7th round, maybe.
So Sony Michel has more talent than Damian, but due to injury, that is why that is all what drives us.
I don't know. Any other team, I would say, yeah, that's why. But New England does stupid crap all the time. They'll grab a guy and then they'll trade him to some team for 8 first-round picks, and then they'll do something and they'll lose 1 pick. That's the Patriots. Can't wait until this era of football is done and we don't have to talk about Bill Belichick ever again.
Sony Michel is the 21st running back according to Fantasy Pros and the 39th overall player. So,
yeah, I have him a little bit higher than that, but that seems about right.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to fall that far. I think you're probably going to have to draft him around the 4th round still, even after they drafted Harris. I'm not a fan. And honestly, both those guys, I really wouldn't be targeting either one of them. I think that they both, like we've said, they both had their concerns. They're both on teams where you're not exactly sure what's going to happen. I would probably rather have Kerryon Johnson just because I like that situation slightly better than New England's. Yeah. Sony Michel did show off in the playoffs that, he's capable. He's very capable. He can handle workload for how long? Yeah. That's what you worry about. He can maybe handle it for 5 or 6 games, and then what?
Well, and I had him, and like you're looking at it and he carries the ball like, I don't know, like 20 sometimes and has a huge game. Then next week, nothing, like barely any touches. And there's all this like game flow kind of thing with New England, and I don't want anything to do with that.
I'd almost rather have James White than Sony Michel.
Yeah.
It's honestly pretty close.
Oh, yeah.
Like straight up. And you can get James White how much later?
Oh, yeah.
Quite a bit.
Way later. Yeah.
James White last year, like, I'm surprised there's not more hype. Like, he was an RB1 last year, I think, for the season overall.
I heard
I know
a
at least
podcast
there's a
today
stretch.
that said he ended up finishing RB6 in their format.
Does not surprise me. He was really good.
He was a top 10 in PPR, wasn't he not?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And I don't know where he's going right now, but he's got to be a value wherever that is. It's probably going to be a value. Where do you guys have him ranked? Without me looking at it.
White.
Uh-huh.
I have him at 25, which I probably should have him higher than that.
Higher than
I think I have to put him in the tier with Kerryon Johnson, Aaron Jones, Philip Lindsay, and Darius Guice.
like
And I probably need to drop Sony a little bit.
yeah, it's like the 16 to 20 range.
Yeah.
I still haven't even found him on here. Oh, there he is. The running back 60. Or no, running back 29.
Yeah, that's what I have
running back
too.
60. Overall 60th player.
Can not to just jump ship from this. I mean, but I want to talk about the garbage fire that is Rashad Penny.
Yeah, Brent kind of alluded to it before. Chris Carson, Rashad Penny, like
if you can't beat out Chris Carson, you don't belong in the NFL.
why do you feel so strong about Chris Carson?
Well, I'm not saying that he's like the worst thing of all time, but I mean, he's nothing to be fearful of. If you are a first round draft choice, how he wasn't able to overtake him, I honestly think he's a bust. I want nothing to do with him. Like running backs usually are either good or bad out of the gate. Very rarely does it change. So,
Man, you really upset Brett on this one. He
Oh,
left.
Brent loves Rashad Penny. Loved him coming out.
I feel like it's an ED situation. Love
Erectile dysfunction?
Erectile dysfunction. Well, I mean, when I watch Penny run, it definitely does not get hard. I mean,
Wow.
I'll tell you that much right now.
So I know he's been a standout at like mini camps and everything this off season. Well, and it helps that Chris Carson's hurt right now, and I don't think he's going to play all season. So,
Yeah.
but that's just me.
Yeah.
Now,
I mean,
Rashad Penny, he showed flashes last year. He had I think at least one or maybe two 100-yard games on very limited touches. So I think, I don't know, the talent's there. I don't know if he should have been a first-round draft. He definitely should not have been a first-round draft pick for the Seahawks. But I mean, it looked like
crappy.
No, I mean, they're the most run-heavy team other than Baltimore in the entire NFL. They're not a passing team. And
It's just funny because neither one of those teams really, I don't know.
what?
Like neither one of those teams like you were excited about having any of those players.
Oh, you're right. I mean, it's so hard to rely on a actual running attack, but with those two teams, it's weird. I don't know. But the Seahawks are extremely run heavy. So even if Chris Carson still is the starter, which I don't think he will be, I think Rashad Penny, where you're getting him in drafts, is an extremely good value with high upside. because Chris Carson, he is an undrafted free agent. He never got drafted.
Mhm.
I see where his fantasy appeal comes from, but if you're drafting him in the 4th round, is that where he's going, Romine? 4th, 5th round?
Rashad Penny or Chris Carson?
Carson.
Chris Carson is 45th overall.
Okay, so
So,
yeah, about the 4th
okay.
round there. I think I'd rather take the upside shot on a guy like Rashad Penny who can do it on limited touches as opposed to a guy who's
Rashad Penny
it's my opposite argument of Leonard Fournette, basically.
Sure. Rashad Penny is 78th overall, by the way.
Well, here's I just kind of popped up his game logs. He did have one game that was 12 for 108, which is 9 yards per carry and a touchdown. But like from the bye, which is he did that in week 10. Week 8, he must have been hurt. Week 9, 4 for 11. Then 10 was when he had that big game. Then 8 for 46, which is not bad. But then week 12, 4 for 4. 7 for 6, 7 for 65, not bad. 8 for 44. And he just bumbled around.
I feel like I could say the same thing about Kerryon Johnson last year.
Let's see.
I feel like I could say the same thing about you, VC.
Wow.
Ooh.
Wow. Was that necessary? I don't even know.
That wasn't. It's rude.
Let's go.
I was defending Rashad Penny there, Brent.
Well, thank you.
Back up.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. Back off.
But you made fun of my Kerryon Johnson because of your CJ Anderson love.
Well,
CJ Anderson.
CJ Anderson was elite when he came in and played last year.
That's how he always is. He always has like 2 games in him, and then you think he's amazing, and then he sucks ass.
He's won me 2 championships.
Don't want to talk about it.
Wait,
I won you 2 championships.
You did not do
beat
shit.
last year.
You did not do shit, huh?
Who did you beat last year?
Oh, the one and only Romine.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay.
Always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Okay, you're right. I mean, he did have better games than Penny. He had 2 100-yard games. But other than that, it was a little bit of a bumble, and then he got hurt. So,
I told you guys.
but
Chris Carson.
To be fair,
No.
though,
It's Kerryon Johnson.
Kerryon Johnson.
Kerryon. Oh.
But to be fair, he was not getting the volume. He like the second half of his rookie year, I guess, he was getting more volume, but at the same time, Detroit is awful. So bad.
They're not good.
They're
But
bad.
this could be the year. You had mentioned Darius Geis, Alex.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I feel about Darius Geis.
He's
there
a
was
tough
so
You
much
can get a value.
Oh, he is.
I don't think his knee's all quite right. I think that's still an issue.
Why do you think that?
They had to go in there and clean more out of it. He had like soreness in it and tightness in it, I think too.
Yeah,
And I think they had to go back in there and clean some of his knee out.
Real mind.
I don't know if I don't think he's 100%.
Geis is living at Van Cleef's house. That's the reason he knows.
he is.
They call
Yes,
him
he's
tests all the
living.
time.
Oh yeah, he's staying down in the toy room.
Oh,
Yep.
Damn, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Actually,
He's
I've
playing
got
Red
my
Dead
shit
right
in the
now.
basement. Yes, that son of a bitch. He's
That's why your internet's struggling.
Yeah. It's
Yep.
He's
trouble.
he's the
Is
RB
it
28.
really struggling that bad?
No, it's great.
no, it's fine.
54th overall. It might be a little. I don't know. It's just a lot of investment for.
Okay. Let me pose this then. If you take all the rookies and you add Geis, do you still go Josh Jacobs or do you lean toward Geis?
I'd rather have Josh Jacobs than Geis.
Okay.
Personally,
Would you put Geis after him, or are there more rookies that you would put ahead of him?
I'd rather have Montgomery, for sure.
See, this
Personally.
is a tough thing because they've got so many running backs behind him, or even if they could, like, they still have AP there. They re-signed him. Then they brought in
Bryce
rookie
Love.
running backs, Bryce Love, yeah. Which I know Bryce Love has his own injuries, but when when he plays, he's very efficient.
Chris Thompson's still there.
Yeah, I just like, why keep all these guys around if you're not
Just in
worried
case.
about
Insurance.
Exactly.
I mean,
And
you're
so
always worried about your running backs, though. I mean,
I know, but it feels like they have excessive amount. They still have Rob Kelly there, don't they?
don't.
Don't even go there. No.
I'm just saying, why keep them if they got all those other guys?
Rob Kelly's just like CJ Anderson right now.
No, you take that back.
I will not
Batter.
take that back.
Hey, you remember?
I will reach through the screen right now and pull out your throat.
I remember that one time that Romine and I made a bet about Rob Kelly, and he had the best game of his career that night. It was awesome.
Was it good for you or bad for?
It was good for me because I said that I can't remember what it was. Like, I said he was going to have like 100 yards or something along those lines, and he had like 130 yards, 3 touchdowns. Like he was the player of the game. Like, and then I mean he never did anything after that. But you know,
You're pretty lucky like that. So.
Yep, it's true.
So you were talking about where we would put him in there. So you thinking you guys kind of agree? Like, is it in between Dave Montgomery and Miles Sanders? Like,
It's around there.
I
mean, he's got talent, but I don't know about that knee.
I am too invested in Miles Sanders to talk about him this year. I feel like I can't say anything because I have way too much of him on my teams. I've drafted him in like I think 4 different rookie drafts.
He's a good pick.
Pre-draft, he was my number 1. I had him over Jacobs and Montgomery.
I want to have him over Montgomery right now still, but like
I still think that like I think if Miles will eventually take over that. Now, like, because I was you guys probably also heard this too. Is like Eagles has never really had since McCoy had a 3-down running back.
Right.
They've always just had LeGarrette Blount and then a couple like other guys just strand together.
Right.
You know? So they really haven't had a true back. That's
because they haven't really had it. You know what I mean? Like they just haven't had anybody to fill that role.
And so I think Miles Sanders can take over that role. I just don't know how soon he's going to.
What makes you think it's going to be longer?
I'm going to interject.
Yeah, go ahead.
We also are missing another Washington running back, former love of Brent's, Samaje Perine.
Oh,
who?
Samaj.
Yep.
Who?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You did love P. Ryan.
I hear he's looking good this offseason.
But let's not get off the fact of Miles Sanders. I feel like I don't think it's going to take him long to pass Jordan Howard. Like I don't think it's going to take all of training camp. I think by preseason, he could pass him. Jordan Howard's a plotter at best.
Am I allowed to jump in as an Eagles fan or?
Yes, give me because I want your Eagles fan because like we were at the draft and when they drafted him, you weren't super excited. I initially was pretty pumped having drafted him before because we do our first round before the actual NFL draft. So like when he got drafted by the Eagles, I was pretty happy about it. And then your disdain for the pick or lack of excitement really threw me off. And then I was like, oh God, maybe I shouldn't be excited.
No, actually, you should be even more excited. I didn't want LaShawn McCoy. I didn't want Zach Ertz. I didn't want Deshaun Jackson. I think I was fine with McNabb. But every year I wanted Geno Smith.
Ooh.
Okay. I am wrong every single time. I want a player to be on the Eagles. They end up not being drafted and being terrible. And whoever they pick is amazing. So I'm just going to throw it out there. Starts the season.
I love it. I love everything about what you just said. You being wrong about so many things and saying that Miles Sanders is going to be great.
This is really weird. What's going on, guys? Like you guys are agreeing. Me and Brendan disagreeing.
I love it.
This doesn't feel right.
It
feels right.
Brandon and I talk about it all the time. If I hate a pick, that means that they're going to be Hall of Fame like numbers. I mean, it's just how it is. I think that's kind of how it is to be an Eagles fan, to be completely honest. We're never satisfied with what happens, and then we're shocked when it actually works out. So,
all right, I'm moving Miles Sanders up to number 1 overall rookie.
yep. Oh no, I'm moving him up number 1 overall.
Yep, taking
Number 1 pick
spot.
over Barkley.
Yeah, that's smart. I don't blame you there. All right. What run backs did I miss? Ooh, Mark Ingram with a new team this year.
Don't
Baltimore.
Care. Don't care.
Does anybody care?
Yeah, I think
staying away.
No. The way late as he's going, I think he's going to have good value. And I mean, that's a run heavy offense right there.
Yeah.
He's going to end the season with 6 yards.
6 yards.
I hate him so much. I have him technically as 39th, but it says for his team is L7. Square. Loser.
Wow.
Interesting.
Weenie.
Yep.
He's the RB 41 overall in Fantasy Pros.
RB23, you said?
Yes.
What's he, so he's going the 4th round, you said?
Yeah. Late 4th, kind of mid 4th, I guess. That's too early for Mark Ingram.
I believe way more in him than I do Gus.
Yeah.
Gus the Bus?
Yeah, that guy.
How about Justice Hill?
I do like Justice Hill, actually.
I like Justice Hill.
I really like Justice Hill.
I have stock in Justice Hill this year, so I really like him. I don't think he's.
You like him because you have him.
Of course.
Well,
that's a terrible reason to like a player.
I'm just saying I've got stock in him too.
I like him because I drafted him.
I was agreeing, Dick.
I have 0 stock in him, and I like him.
I do like him too. But I feel like Mark Ingram was
unbiased.
a product of New Orleans. So.
Yeah. Well, and he wasn't even that great of a product. I mean, he had a couple of good years. He had a couple of good years, but there's a reason why they he
finished top 10. He was a top 10 fantasy running back. That's pretty good. And just wait till Latavius Murray does that this year. I'm not kidding. Like, not top 10.
Okay.
But
where you have him?
I honestly, do I even have him ranked yet? No, he wasn't in my top. Ooh, hold on. Let me look. Nope, don't have him ranked.
36.
Nope. So, I could see him being top. He'll beat Mark Ingram. Like, he'll outscore him.
Ooh.
That's a good board bet. I'll bet that Mark Ingram will outscore Latavius Murray.
Okay, I'll take Latavius Murray side. Alex, you want that?
You're taking Latavius Murray, and I have Mark Ingram.
Correct.
I like that one.
Yeah,
I like that one.
It's bad. I'll take. You know me, like I'm a sucker for Latavius Murray.
Gosh,
just a couple inches shorter, he'd be a Hall of Famer.
I mean, if he was a little shorter, I think he would be better.
I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I
opposite.
wish I had a right bit in a hat that could collar.
You nailed that. You are a regular Skilo.
I love that song. It's my favorite song.
Do you know any other songs by Skilo?
Oh no. I used to go to the skating rink and skate all over this jam.
Just kicking it.
What up, girl?
I can see that. I see you being a pretty good skater.
Yeah.
Just out there shredding, skating backwards.
Yeah.
Running over kids.
Oh yeah.
Look at those little PVC things with wheels scooting around.
Short shorts.
He knocks kids over. Like he used to do that just to get like the mascot that's like is like a dog or something like that. He pushed kids over just like he did it with Andrew Luck.
Trying to get Andrew Luck's autograph. Get out of my way, kid.
No, wasn't trying. I did.
You did.
I succeeded. Don't care what happened to that kid. I got an autograph.
He signed your sweaty ass hat.
Yeah. Gross hat.
Like dripping.
So like Latavius Murray could see having a good season. Should probably talk about Tevin Coleman, San Francisco running backs in general.
I don't give a shit.
You don't care about any of them?
No.
They're all going to get hurt.
I think Coleman will. I think Coleman will lead that.
Tevin Coleman stayed pretty healthy in his career, though, right? Like he hasn't missed much time.
I don't think he's missed a game yet.
So why do you think he's going to get hurt? Just because it's San Francisco?
Yes, because all the San Francisco running backs are hurt except Tevin Coleman so far.
All that rice and roni they eat.
I could see like him leading the team, but with like 938 yards and 4 touchdowns. Like
938 is not bad.
It wouldn't return too much fantasy value.
That's not fantasy worthy. I mean, I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of. I don't know. I don't like San Francisco. They're just boring.
I think their offense is going to be good.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think it could be. All right. Well, before I wrap it up, is there any one last person that you guys want to talk about?
CJ Anderson.
No.
Bilal Powell.
No.
Bilal Powell.
Do you really want to talk about Bilal Powell?
No, I don't. Why would I want to talk about Bilal Powell?
Because you just said it like an idiot.
How about Rob Kelly? Free agent Rob Kelly.
Anybody for real?
What about Ronnie Old Jones?
Oh God, Ronald Jones. We didn't talk about Ronald Jones. Probably don't need to. But
I know he hurt you bad. He cut you deep, didn't he?
He did, and I can't quit him. Like I'm probably gonna not keep somebody so I can keep him for $2. I want to believe.
Well, it's just like they didn't do anything to.
No, Peyton Barber's trash. Warwick
Dunn will have more yards than Ronald Jones.
Put on the board. Warwick Dunn will donate more houses than Ronald Jones runs for yards. Like I look at Ronald Jones' stats from last year and I weep softly.
They're terrible.
So bad. They're so bad. And I think to myself, there's literally no way that he could be good. Because Alex has said it before. Usually when a running back's good, they come in and they're good right away. Like the cases are few and far between where somebody comes in, has a bad season, and then ends up being good. Like it doesn't happen very often.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like last year.
If it was going to happen, it could be Ronald Jones. I feel like.
Oh my God.
I know, but like the situation is so much better. Arians coming in there. Yes, they were garbage fire last year.
Okay, but he was a clear-cut starter. Like he was going to be the running. He was so bad they have to go to another garbage. Like I mean, the fact that he couldn't.
I don't think he got the chance.
He was in the doghouse half the year.
Wasn't Muscle Hamster there?
No,
not last year.
Doug Martin was in Oakland.
Yeah, they got
Doug Martin. Doug Martin was better than. I mean that says a lot.
Who was there last year in front of Ronald Jones?
Peyton Barber.
Well, I thought there was another running back.
Jaquiz Rogers.
Oh,
Quizzy.
Jaquiz.
Yeah, I don't know. Like
Capri
I would take a flyer on Ronald Jones though, because Peyton Barber's going to go too early. I think for anybody that wants to draft him, get Ronald Jones with one of your last picks. I think there's a chance he could start.
I mean,
It's a Bruce Arians offense.
You do have a point there. I rather with the value where Ronald Jones is going versus Peyton Barber, I'd rather have Ronald Jones.
Well, yeah, I agree to that.
I don't know. I was literally just looking at his highlight tapes. I think I sent them to Brent. No, that may have been last year.
No, you did send them to me. I just deleted them.
His college tape is so good. Can't catch, but
so is Laquan Treadwell's.
Oh, don't. That name still hurts. Like
he's a cut candidate too.
Yeah, he's gonna get cut. Like
yeah, he's gonna.
I think a team will pick him up though.
Man, Roman, you cannot hit on first round rookies.
I've had no luck.
And neither can Minnesota. Minnesota's done that.
We'll see what happens.
No, I mean like
Dumb Cook was the first round.
They've had a couple of
This is second, right?
Yeah.
I just totally lost the other guy that. Oh, Cordell Powell. Just,
Colin
Powell.
Colin Powell.
Blah, blah, blah.
All right, let's we don't need to talk about any more of those guys. We'll talk like late round sleepers, another show anyway. But thanks for listening. Hop on Twitter, follow us, 4 Horsemen Pod. Send emails, 4horsemenpod@gmail.com. We will probably talk wide receivers next week, maybe tight ends, quarterbacks, one of those positions. We'll talk about something.
We'll talk about like the 3 or 4 tight ends that are good.
Oh, yeah, there's more than that. But we will talk to you guys next week. Peace.